My name's Veronica Powell. Welcome to Soulful Warrior Collective. Thank you so much for joining me today. So today I'm just giving a little talk first about the core and core strengthening, core lifting, and the kind of just breaking it down a little bit and demystifying the core a little bit, because all of my classes are based on the core strength vinyasa and the alignment, whereby you really do find that deep core line and you activate by using this, by softening and grounding down and then lifting the core and expressing out. So I'm just going to show you a few exercises along with talking about it, just to sort of give you the grounding, so when you go into the other classes, the longer classes, you have a much better understanding and you can really focus in on the alignment and the process of activating and tapping into that deep core line. So come to a mat or your floor, and if you have a block handy, that would be great. Or you can get a supportive cushion, something that has just a little bit more support, and a blanket rolled up or a towel rolled up, and just get that for a moment. And whilst I have a little chat with you, come and sit on that prop, on the block if possible, or whatever prop you have, and just come into a nice easy pose. So your hips are higher than your knees here, giving you a nice soft gentle opening as you find the ground beneath you. So softening through here and then feeling that ground, one foot in front of the other, nice and relaxed here, and a lifting through the body and finding the back of the head nicely aligned. Very often we sit like this from all of this action, or we go over the top this way. So it's always good to sort of feel the back. I like to actually put my hands there and feel the back of the head and just kind of place it there nicely on the spine. So the deep core line, I talk about this in my classes at the beginning too, really starts down here in this inner arch of your foot and moves all the way up here, the inner thighs and this pelvic area, deep core line, and then this lifting that happens all the way around the body here, and then comes up, and that tongue being the top of the core line, that muscle at the top, which is why I love that lion's breath. Not only does it feel and sound fantastic when you release, but it is lifting the core, and you can feel when you that the core lifts from all the way down here. And with all the sounds or whatever of the breath, whether it's inhales and exhales out the mouth or out of the nose, that sound is coming from deep down here. And sometimes when we talk about the ujjayi breath, the nasal breath in and out, it is all very constrictive around here. You know, this is your throat chakra, and you kind of constrict that and hear that rumbling. The vibration and the sound, really think about it coming from all the way down here, and the release being this beautiful, warm breath that you can feel vibrating and lifting and then coming out through the nose or the mouth. So yeah, so that's that deep core line. Now your abdominals are part of your core, but they are just part of your core. They're a deep, deep core muscles. One such muscle is that lovely psoas muscle, which people will say is like the suspenders connecting the lower and upper body, and it runs up here, and it's a deep muscle that needs care and activation to keep us strong and to keep us healthy and longevity. So by activating this deep core line and making everything come from here, and then eventually extending out with more superficial muscles, we really do hone into that powerhouse that we have. And not only physically, mentally too, and energetically. This is a very powerful area of emotions, and we hold ego here, and we hold tension here and anxiety. Butterflies in the stomach. My stomach's in knots very often. When there's a stressful situation, you feel your stomach, you feel it in your stomach. So working to be able to balance and lift and strengthen, we can find this calmness in the belly. So by releasing stagnant energy through breath, by releasing through movement, we find this beautiful calmness, and the mind and the body start to form this beautiful union. The word yoga meaning union. So this beautiful alignment that happens. So firstly, we need to be soft in our bodies and find the ground beneath us. So whatever is connecting with the ground, make sure that there is that connection. Very often I've seen people place hands, they just place hands, place feet. Really think about the earth. The earth is such an amazing thing and gives us this energy. So when we give it energy and make an intention as we place into the earth will in turn give us back. Pushing into the ground first, receiving that energy, lifting through the core, and then able to come out from there. So a couple of exercises just to put that all in place with what I've said. Come in here in your easy pose and feel the ground beneath you. So even if you're sitting down on the ground like this, you know, just feel the ground. In fact, come off the block for a moment and do feel the ground beneath you and feel your thighs and those sits bones and make that lovely connection. I'm outside today, as you can see, and I can hear birds, I can feel the breeze, I can the blue sky, the sun, and it's really beautiful. So I'm connecting to all that's around me as I'm feeling the ground beneath me. And with that breath that we were talking about, as you inhale, fill your body with that beauty, fill your body with that energy, relax into it, and really expand on that inhalation. And as you exhale, lifting up, squeezing up from that pelvic floor, squeezing up from the root, and lifting and lifting. So there's a lengthening and an opening and a release out of the mouth. I like to take a couple of really deep releases through the mouth just to shift that stagnant energy, and then if I feel like it, I'll go into a more internal nasal breathing. Find your inhales as you expand and warm, and everything, the front, the sides, the back, fill with air and beautiful life force. And as you exhale, and I can feel everything lifting up. Find your own rhythm here with your breath. So as you're inhaling, really envisage that beautiful expansion and warmth of the whole of the belly. Fill yourself with new life force. And as you exhale, send that beautiful warmth and anything you no longer need, send it in and up and out. Let's bring our hands in here. So unfurl the hands through center. So thinking of that core line, inhale up through center, coming into center. And as you exhale, draw your hands back down in prayer position to hover over your heart. Taking a couple of twists here. Really important with twists to know where you're twisting from. The lumbar spine down here in your lower back, it doesn't have it has very little twisting movement. And as you move up through the spine, there's more mobility at the top. So keeping the hips nice and neutral and keeping everything as is. You inhale, fill the body, and as you exhale, with your hands hovering on your heart to remind you, just simply exhale, lifting through the core, and then just moving from the heart. So it's a nice opening here with the heart. Nothing's forced. Then just bring yourself over here. Inhale, fill the body. Exhale, lift up through the core. Come back into center. Exhale, back into center, lifting through the core, protecting that lower back. Inhale, fill the body. Lengthen and expand. Exhale from the chest, from the heart. Take a lift through the core from the pelvis and a really nice movement over to your left. So having your hands up here serves as many purposes, reminding you that the heart is what's twisting, and also to avoid this kind of janky movement here that can be very jarring. I've always found twist challenging, and by just moving from the heart, It's been a really nice way to find and embrace the twisting, which is a great movement. Inhale, exhale, back to center. Twisting is a lovely way to bring out the body and keep that mobility through the body. So inhale, fill, exhale, back over to the right. So coming from leading with the heart and coming to a comfortable position, not overstressing your body. Inhale, exhale, lift and come to center. Inhale, expand, and as you exhale, lift up through the core. Feel that internal lift, and then find that openness and expansion, and let the hind chart up to this beautiful sunshine, embracing, pushing down into the ground, hips down, lifting, open. Inhale, exhale, back to center. Bring your hands behind you and just shimmy to the long edge of the mat. And again, easy pose. And because we've moved, just make that connection back with the earth. Find your position first. Bring your hands onto your knees so that there's a little bit of resistance here as you inhale, fill the body and come forward, opening through the chest, back of the head nice and aligned and leading back as you lift from the core. You're grounding down, lifting from the core and coming back and having a little dome in the back of the back, but this is what is lifting. And I can almost feel already how my knees want to lift because I'm lifting from that pelvis. Inhale, expand and open. Exhale, lift up, push down into the ground, lift, 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 and come back all the way up. Exhale, fists of fire. So you're drawing that energy in and acknowledging this power center. Inhale, find that breath. Exhale, lift from the core and pull back. And as you do so, when you lift up through the core, the knees might want to start to lift as a result of the core lift activation. Exhale one more time, come all the way up and maybe coming out into a modified Navasana bow pose. Onto your mat, lower yourself nice and slowly down. So the psoas muscle, this is a psoas activator, and we talked about the psoas, this connecting, long connecting muscle, connecting lower and upper body. Here with the hip flexors, it's this deep core muscle and runs up here. So we want to keep this healthy and we want to keep it activated. Sorry, the sun is in my eyes. So this exercise really helps you feel that activation. So bring your knees over your hips, thereabouts, and find that stiletto asana, like you're pointing your foot but then pulling the toes back like you're wearing the high heel. And you can have your hands in a clasp behind your head in a basket, and you can lift, have your head slightly lifted off the mat, but keeping the shoulder blades still in contact with the ground. And if you're here, then really think about the head hanging in this basket you've created with your hands. So we keep away the tension at the neck, or you can have your head on the mat, on the ground, and your hands down to the side. So this is connecting with the earth. So make that intention, make the connection. Feel the sacrum, the lower back, the hips all connecting with the earth. There's a natural curve in my spine, so I'm not flattening out the spine, but I am lifting and protecting the lower back by lifting through this core. So as you inhale, bring your right knee bent like this and tap it onto the ground. And as you exhale, lift through the core, and you lift slowly. Lift this right leg back. But you're lifting all the way up here. So you really have to think about that and send that focus in there. So lifting, 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 lifting. And there's a difference between lifting all the way up through the core and simply just lifting, moving your hips up and down. As you can see there, that's just my hips. So you want to take the time to find that control, coming all the way up here and tapping with the ball mound of the foot, and then coming, and you can hear my voice is starting to waver a bit as I'm really using the deep core to lift, lifting from the pelvis, again not flattening out that back, but lifting, 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 protecting the lower back by lifting up and through that front body. Bring your feet down here, hands on the belly, a little gentle movement side to side maybe. Now bring those toe mounds together and the inside of the heels. You can see a little space between, knees are nice and wide. Again, find that basket, that clasped hands behind your head, and you want to have a nice natural feel in the back of the neck, arms wider. And again, we're not flattening out the back, we're not tucking tailbones or anything like that. Keeping a nice curvature of the spine there, but using that front body. So push through the toe mounds, push through the inner heels, and you'll automatically already feel that activation all the way through that deep core line we were talking about and up. So inhale, exhale, lift up, squeeze the toe mounds, squeeze the inner heels, and lift. And even though this seems like a simple movement, you have to really remember to activate from all the way down in that inner arch, the toe mounds, the inner heels. And you can take a nice, I like to take about 10 at a nice slow pace to really feel that lift. And then on the 10 I hold and just feel a little moderate pace of pulsing, about 10. And I'm sure by doing that you can feel how that core is starting all the way down below. Hands on belly, little side to side movement there. Now roll over onto your side, push yourself up, or you can rock and roll all the way up and find yourself here in this tabletop. So with tabletop, very often we see this happening in a very crunching of the wrist. So you want to think about bringing the shoulders back behind the wrists, at most stacked on top, but a few inches behind so you can give yourself space. Another thing I really like to do is to come up onto my fingertips here, push into the earth, find that bend in my elbow, push into my fingertips here, and then bending down, I find the earth. And that just gives me that great connection, so I can really feel with the fingertips and the ring palm of my hand, I can feel it pushing down. So it takes the pressure off the wrist and sends it into my muscles, energetically drawing those forearms together. On an inhale, slide your hips back as you bend the elbows. It's like you're going to pounce. And as you exhale, push into the ground. Whatever's connecting with the ground, push in and lift up through the pelvis and come into a cat. Inhale, slide everything back, elbows bend, so you're softening here. And then on your exhale, you push into the ground, find that ground beneath you, and then lift up through your pelvis. And by doing this, you can really feel all the muscles coming into play. Inhale, lengthen, fill the body. Exhale, push into the ground and lift up through the core and find your final position. Tuck your toes. Inhale, slide those hip bones back, bend your elbows, soften in. Exhale, push through the ground, lift through the core, and let that lift you up and back into downward facing dog. Take a little pedal here, high on those ball mounds, bending the knees generously. Take it nice and slow as you warm up. Again, sometimes I like to come up onto those fingertips for a moment, feel the ground, and then find the placement of my hand. Find where I'm connecting. I'm connecting here with my toe mounds, my fingertips, that's pressing into the earth. So just have a little bounce, play with it. Play with pushing into the ground and see where that goes. You want elbows coming back along the sides of the mat, along the sides of the body. Inhale, bend your elbows, bend your knees. Exhale, just take your knees over to the right for a moment. Inhale, fill the body. Exhale, lift through the core. Beautiful stretch down that body, and you're feeling that core activation. Inhale, center, bend everything. Push into the earth, and then come over to the left. Moving, bouncing, using the ground to give us energy and movement. Inhale, bend everything here. Exhale, push into the ground, push into the ball mat, push into the fingertips, lift through the pelvis, lift through the core. Come nice and slowly out to a well-positioned high plank. Back of the head is in line with the spine. Sometimes this happens. Keep this nice and up. Inhale, bring your knees down. Find that expansion in the chest. Untuck the toes, feel the ground beneath you. Exhale, lift through the core, feel the ground. And very slowly, coming down with chest lifted, come down into the ground. Feel the ground beneath you. Chest is nicely open. Using that core control. Inhale, fill the body. Exhale, lift through the core. And gently, with a lifted core, inhale, nice chest expansion here. Exhale, lift up through the core, push into the ground, tuck your toes, and come back to downward facing dog. Come down onto your knees and have just a little bit of distance here between your knees, so we're not all the way wide out here, so there's a nice space in the back. And come down into child's pose, either here, or you can put your fists to bring the ground up to you, or our old friend the trusty block, wherever you need to be. But just take a moment, breathe into the whole body, and stay there as long as you like, but gently lift up through the core and come back nice and safely. Inhale, find a beautiful expansion, fill your body. Exhale, push into the ground, lift through the core, and give yourself a hug as you round through the top part of your body, your spine. Breathe into the back. Inhale, expand out. Exhale, draw all of this energy, sunshine, warmth, love into your body. Inhale, open. Exhale, all the way. Inhale, fill the body, unfold your arms back through that center, through that deep core line. And on your exhale, as you lift up, maybe take a little rotation here. And I always like to do a little massage through my forearms, clear a bit of space. And take my left hand, make a little cup shape, and find some space there in the wrists, maybe massaging just gently in the bones, but finding that space. Feels nice. Giving yourself a little self-care, letting everything fall into place. So coming back here to my easy pose, I'm going to sit on the block again. So those are some of the things to think about when you're doing any move, any transition, to really think about the earth beneath you. Soften the body, feel the earth lifting through the core, and then finding the expansion as a result. But that is a deep core line, and the more you tap into that power and strength, the better it will be, the more beneficial on your body, on your muscles, on your joints, your everything. And you'll feel, I always feel lighter and freer and more balanced and whole. So I hope that's helped sort of get you into the idea of core activation. Now apply that to the classes, whichever class it is, and enjoy. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.